Okay, so this is horse part 3 in a series of the creation of this horse. Uh, I can tell you it took a lot of hours, um, painstaking layers and layers of pastel. But I did learn a lot while I was doing this. I had a good time. Actually, it was very satisfying creating this from a good reference photo. Uh, at any rate, you're going to just see a lot more of the same, more layers of pastel, more layers of blending, more layers of pastel, until you can achieve what you're looking for. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just going back and forth with the blending stump, trying to decide what works well to create the depth and the texture that I'm looking for on this horse. My brain knows what it wants. It's just hard to get it to communicate, I guess, with these pencils. But overall, it was a quick learning curve for me. I figured out what worked, what didn't work. So here I'm just putting in more definition of where that skull, where that nose bridge is, because I know I'm going to want to create a little bit of depth right there. That's just me putting a line there so I know where the center is, so I know where I want to create those shadows. Because once again, I said before, I find pastels to be pretty forgiving. If you don't like it, you can change it, which I do a lot in this picture, as you can see. So yeah, it's just a lot of layers. I don't know how else to say it. If you have something, a comment or question of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, shoot me a comment. I'll answer you to the best of my abilities for sure. I did end up going back on those two mirror veins on either side and lengthening them down a little bit more because they just came to an abrupt stop and I didn't like that. So you'll see that in the final video. I don't know if I addressed that in this video towards the end or not, but I can guarantee you I ended up addressing that and not liking it, and so I changed it. Again, you can do that. It's fun. It's just not that hard to do. Um, really medium, soft to medium pressure is what I'm using with these pastels and these charcoal pencils. You don't want to destroy the canvas that it's sitting on. So you can see that's a really light touch that I'm doing with that white right there. It's not a hard touch at all. You just don't need to do that. Charcoal and pastels tend to lay down pretty easy wherever you put them. I do use that Spectrafix in between sessions to just kind of secure the pastel so they doesn't shift and move around. Because they will. So I do use that. It's a multimedia fixative. It's not harmful. It doesn't change the color, in my opinion. I do use it in a fine mist spray bottle. Like I've said before, you definitely want to change the bottle. The bottle that it comes in, just to me, just puts way too many droplets, and you don't want that on your pastel because it will leave a spot, a vacant spot there. Really hard to paint over, in my opinion. So anyway, more blending. I want to say most of this horse was done with a blending stump. As soon as I was able to lay down some charcoal or pastel, that blending stump, it doesn't just come off because you used it. It'll stay on the end of that blending stump, and you can keep using it and reusing it and putting more color wherever you want it. It's a lot like a pan pastel in that sense. Pan pastels do the same thing. But at any rate, trying to do this nostril, I've said this before, I regret not paying a little bit closer attention to the reference photo. I may have over exaggerated this nostril in particular on the shape, but hey, I'm okay with that. Nothing is perfect, and horses are, as much as I love them, I've had them. I've had horses in my life. Love them. They are not perfect. Although I have to say, my boy Ruger, who was a black horse, he was a chocolate. He was considered a chocolate colored horse. In my mind, he was perfect. He was a good horse. Anyway, that brought a lot of memories back when doing this horse portrait of my horse Ruger. Rest in peace, buddy. Anyway, You just have to look at your reference photos and try to draw what you're seeing, not what you know it is. For instance, you're painting a nostril. Don't do it in what you think a nostril looks like. Look at your picture. Look at your reference. And just pay attention to where shapes are, lines, texture, darkness, lightness, the curve of a line, uh, anything like that. Just try to trick your brain, basically. Tell your brain, nope, we're just looking at shapes, lines, and textures. We are not looking at a nostril. Because your brain will try to trick you and tell you, ooh, this goes here and this goes there. I fight it all the time. I think most people do. They may not admit it, but you do. You're drawing an eye. You know what an eye looks like. You see one in your mind. So your brain will try to tell you, well, this pupil goes here and this eyelash goes here and this is the shape of the eye. Don't do that. It's my best advice. Draw what you see, not what you know. And you have to remind yourself that. I do. That's why you take breaks. You take your break, look at something different, or just go get a snack, go take a walk, get away from the project for a little bit, take a break, gain your perspective. When you come back, you tell yourself, I am drawing what I see. So anyway, the angle that I did this particular video on was not the best, and I apologize for that. This makes it look like one nostril is way up higher than the other. It is literally the angle of my camera. I'm still learning about how to do a good video, so please bear with me. If you have any tips on a good camera, let me know. I've gone through a couple, but at any rate, the horse came along really well during this particular session. I was very happy with it. I felt accomplished, and I was very content with how it was taking shape. And that's really all art is. It's just being patient and letting the process take you on the ride. I will say mouths on horses tend to be my weak spot for some reason. Maybe it's back to the fighting what I know is there and what is really there in the picture, in the photo reference. So, yeah, you just got to pay attention to the photo reference. Lots of blending, lots of layers. And I've said I feel like a broken record. I'm sorry for that. But literally, that's what this picture is. A lot of blending and a lot of layers. So stay tuned. I've got the last video coming up. Should drop in a few days. And we will call him done after the last video that's coming up. So I do appreciate y'all hanging in there with me with this, a lot of support, which I really do appreciate. It always means so much to me. Hit that subscribe button. It really does help me be able to create more content for my channel, Therapy Art for You. I'm Lisa Clark. This is the dreaded, but I'm happy with the ending, black horse on acrylic canvas. So stay tuned. The last part is coming up, and I do appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see ya. Bye.